What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Home Slice. This episode has been like a brainchild in my mind for a long time. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. So many companies make their outdoors and their survival knives out of 1095 carbon steel. I'm personally a fan of 1095 carbon steel. I think it does certain things super well, but I think that sometimes in our passion we tend to overstate things. And there's this phrase that gets kicked around quite a lot that's like, well, if you were in a survival situation, you would want to have 1095 because it's so easy to sharpen. It's easier than other things to sharpen, which carries the connotation that it's easier than high carbon or high carbide volume steels to sharpen on stones not made for sharpening. And it's easier than stainless steel. Well, the great thing about a hypothesis like that is that it doesn't require any gear, right? Like, you just have to walk outdoors into the middle of nowhere. So here I am in the middle of nowhere, New Zealand. I'm going to a river down there because, you know, rivers kind of smooth out rocks, and I'm hoping to find some flat rocks down there. And I have brought with me a survival knife in a 1095 variant, a Kabar Becker BK7, which I love. We're gonna sharpen this. I've brought a Benchmade 943 in S30V, which gets a really bad rap for being hard to sharpen. Like if Kabar came out with a variant of this knife in S30V, the cry would go up like, what about survival sharpening? Well, let's find out today. I've also brought along, for the purpose of argument, a really soft stainless H1. I'll say I brought this hollow grind knife intentionally thinking of Vadim Krychuk. He's quoted to say in his deburring book, which you guys should read, it's a really good read, that if he was in a survival situation, he would want a hollow grind because that would be the easiest to sharpen, and he would just bring an axe. So Vadim passed away, unfortunately, earlier this year, and my condolences to his family. Like, I've really enjoyed some of his work, but this one goes out to you, Vadim. So I've come out here literally with 3 knives, a tripod, and a camera. I've got a bag right over there, and I threw my best machine in. I'm praying that it hasn't been damaged by bonking along in the backpack with all of this outdoors tramping, as they call it in New Zealand, that I'm doing. So we're gonna take some river rocks that I find there. Guys, I even denied the urge. I saw smooth rocks along the gravel road that I walked in on, and I was like, oh, I should grab those. Those might be good to sharpen with, and I denied the urge. This is gonna be a pure test. We're gonna see out here in the outdoors, natural stones, which steel survival sharpens the best. Now, I should say that I ground off all the edges of these on a diamond stone. They're all at a similar level of dulling. It's like 600 to high 700s on the best, from one stroke going each direction at 90 degrees to flatten the edge on a 250 grit diamond stone. Anyway, let's get into it. I'll talk to you guys a bit as we're heading down because I want to hear, okay? I want predictions. Could you put down in the comments, which knife do you think, in your experience and knowledge, is going to perform this test the best, i.e. is going to sharpen to the highest, best number? I want to challenge you to be brave, all right? So be brave, pause the video now, put it down in the comments. We'll see who's right and who's wrong. No worries if you're wrong. You know, guessing is fun. Being wrong is fun. You learn stuff that way. What I'm going to say is I'm going to predict that H1 is going to take the most satisfying edge. The reason why I'm going to guess that is because it has a high alloy amount, and so I think that will sort of smooth out the sharpening job, but it has it's relatively soft. I think S30V is going to do better than we think, or better than most people watching this video would think, because it has negative burr tendencies. And so what that means is that S30V often strips off a burr at the sharpening angle a little bit easier than some of these steels like 1095. All right, we're here at the river. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully this video is worthwhile. Oh, there's a little fantail. New Zealand fantail. Can you guys see that? Oh, there's another one up there. These things are so cool. They flick their tail out and it turns from looking black to looking white because of the white interior feathers. Fantails kind of dance around you when they fly. They're kind of a playful bird. They're real cool. Hopefully you guys can see that fantail. Those fantails, very cool. All right, the brush is getting a bit thicker and more difficult to navigate, but here we are at the river, and I'm excited. I see some relatively flat stones. Of course, nothing that I use out here is going to be totally flat. I'm sort of working over in my mind how I'm going to strop these things, but I'm thinking maybe some loose bark, maybe with some river silt dumped into it might do the trick. We'll see how it goes. All right, up here in the river, I've found some real flat stones to set stuff up on. So I think I'll make this something of a little home base. But before I do that, there's a wee waterfall up there. So I'm gonna go see if I can climb over to it and check it out. And then we'll get to the sharpening. Okay, I am walking in narrow places here, hoping to get closer to that waterfall for a sweet intro shot. If I fall into this river, you've got to like this video to reward me for the effort. Holy cow, cliffhanger. Okay, we're doing okay. Woo! Okay, I've officially gone barefoot, but I think we're gonna make it over. All right, I made it over to the waterfall. I probably won't film over here because it's real loud and I'll have to shout, but holy freaking cow, it's cool.
Look at that dream.
Back to my phone, which I dropped here so I wouldn't kill it by falling in a river. Back to my Keens, which I threw from over there, and back to my knives. Let's get on with the video. It's funny, already this is like more of a survival video than I've ever done, because I'm thinking about things like, what if I slip and bash my head and fall in the water? So in value of my family and my survival, I'm not going to do stupid things. So that leads to the second sort of complication. And the second complication is this, that I anticipated there being a lot of small loose stones that I could use to grind some of the stones flat with. But we've got like this really rough, like relatively flat for your feet, but not flat enough to sharpen a knife with without murdering the edge stones. And on this side, there's absolutely no small stones. So I looked over there and I found there's a little pool with a bunch of river rocks in it. So I have to actually cross this river somehow. And so I'm gonna leave the best here so it doesn't get dumped in the water, and my phone. And I've loaded on my knives, and I'm gonna bring my bark strop, I think I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna try somehow to cross this river without falling in. I didn't plan to swim in this video. I'm literally in these like cotton Kathmandu shorts. So we'll see how it goes. I'll just also say that I really hope that this DJI Osmo is as waterproof as they say it is, because it might be going for a swim.
Between the pines, I hear you twisted wine.
Okay, survived the river crossing. And the reward, I think, is not only some sharpening stones, but I found a big flat stone that's out on the rock there. And what I anticipate is an even better than the intro shot of this waterfall. Check it out.
And I only see you in that
Alright, welcome to the fanciest knife sharpening class you've ever attended. Survival sharpening. The first step in survival sharpening is choosing which stone is the least horrible from the ones that you have in your drawer. This one's pretty horrible. Other side, real coarse. Yeah, let's see. Oh, there we go. That's not terrible. And look, this stone even comes with a Nagura. It's really important to work up a slurry when you're survival sharpening with your Nagura stone. Make sure to aggressively grind the texture out of your stone for optimal performance. I suggest mainly edge trailing strokes if you're using actual stones to sharpen your knife, like stones. I have no idea if this stone is even harder than metal, so we'll see how it goes. Kabar Becker first. I should say that I expect that the real reason that 1095 is used for outdoors knives is because it's cheaper to roll it to thickness and it's easier to grind. But we're gonna find out in this video whether that's the only reason or not. I also suspect that it's quite a bit cheaper to just get large pieces of steel in a really simple carbon steel that's been around 200 years. But here we are, guys. We are gonna find out today. Don't worry, I have addressed this problem of survival sharpening for you. Now you don't need to worry about it. Number 2, Benchmade 943 S30V. How's it gonna go with my homemade sharpening stone and Nagura? Burr came up quite nicely actually on the 1095. I was super surprised. Oh my gosh, guys. This S30V has already got a burr at this like sharpening angle that, or roughly this sharpening angle that I did last time. About 17 degrees. Wow. I might take this stone home, man, depending on what the best numbers are. All right, how's this? Is this shaving? Not really, not quite. 1095 was struggling to shave as well though, so I'm not sure that indicates an advantage anywhere. Oh, now that I've got it there, I'm feeling a slight burr, so I'm just gonna address that. That feels better. Okay. Blow the water out of that so it doesn't rust inside the pivot. We'll set the Benchmade out. All right, last knife, guys. The, oh, where's it at? Spyderco Salt one. Here we go. I think I'm gonna have to switch to stone in hand or stone stationary rather than knife stationary because the blade is so small on this one. That might affect the results, but frankly at this point I'm just surviving. Pun intended. Yeah, as expected, burr came up super fast on H1. This is a great slurry created by this Nagura. Piece of my stone just broke off there. Hopefully that doesn't chip the edge. Okay, pronounced burr, easily formed on that side. Just do some edge balancing here. I hesitate to do any edge leading strokes because you never know what the texture of this stone will be like on any given stroke, or whether a bit will have chipped off and it will destroy the edge by digging in. That side feels quite good. That side feels quite good. I'll probably do some light strokes like I did with the others. Okay, let's test that out. Oh my gosh, guys, that is shaving a little bit. Oh my gosh, wow. That's awesome, actually. Okay, for stropping, I put this piece of bark in my back pocket. There's a relatively flat spot there, so I'm just gonna get my stones wet and work up kind of a little bit of a slurry of fine ground stone. Nice little slurry. And then I'm actually gonna use this and wet the bark and then apply this to the bark so that I can use the bark actually as a stropping agent, the middle of the bark. So we'll see how this works, eh? All right, that ought to do. First up, Kabar Becker. Sounding a bit coarse, I'm gonna just like rinse a little bit of this off, so maybe only the fines are left in there. I'm gonna rinse this off as well. Hopefully we didn't mess up the edge on that 1095. If you feel that invalidates the test, then let me know in the comments. We can do another test. I'm doing my best here, guys. I'm doing my best. Okay. Didn't quite raise a burr, which I think is ideal for a stropping operation. Which is quite good. Okay. Now let's do single strokes in each section, alternating to the other side each time. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call that done. See if it's shaving. The rounded part of the edge is shaving.
My head, the place where death is dead.
I should mention that H1 was so sharp it actually cut into my thumb when I was trying to clean it off, so that may be a sign of something good. All right, the burr is actually a bit harder to take off in this S30V, which is interesting. I would have expected the opposite. Would have expected the 1095 to put up more of a fight when it came to the burr, but I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. All right, Spyderco Salt 1, sent to me courtesy of my friend Danny. Thank you so much, Danny, you're the man. Thanks for making this test possible.
Rest in peace. Beneath the pines, soaked in potent wine, finally free.
Right, gotta cross the river to get back to my best tester. We'll see how that goes. I will leave my sharpening kit here, you know, if anybody wants to come and claim it. If the results are amazing, you know. Okay guys, got the best setup here on the riverbank. Our mission today is clearly to go where no best machine has gone before. Let's see, we were gonna test a round of the Kabar, belly, I should say, of the Kabar. Can't think. Having problems here. Oh, 542. That's not too good. Let's test another portion of edge. Maybe that was a poor portion of edge. Hopefully. Hopefully that's not what you have to work with if you are sharpening in a survival situation. I'd hesitate to, I wouldn't be excited about that. Oh, 316. That's not bad. I suppose we'll average those two. Maybe we'll take one more. Another portion of edge, just to get a good picture. $369. Okay, so we're probably pretty confidently in the mid 300s, which is not bad at all given the stones we had or didn't have. Okay, Benchmade 943. As we did the K-bar, we will test the belly first. And the belly is comparable. 547, not so good. Okay, next we'll test the flat. $502. Oh, not so good. Not so good. So, perhaps we're confirming the hearsay today. Okay, 679. So Benchmade S30V, we're definitely up in the 5-600s. So there you go, that's very interesting. I don't know what I expected, but that's not so good. Okay, Spyderco Salt. Tip first. Here we go. Belly first. $343. Wow, am I gonna be right about something? That'd be unusual for this channel, wouldn't it? Huh? $448. Okay, one more. If it's in the 300s, this is gonna beat the K-bar. If it's in the 500s, the K-bar is gonna beat this, and we will have somewhat confirmed the suspicion that survival sharpening, you need 1095. What do you guys reckon? All right. $444. Ooh, it's close. It's close. I'm gonna have to average it out to see who won. What an interesting result. Well, getting out that hill was not easy, but oh, I had a blast. That was the most fun I've had in a long time. That was awesome. Oh, what conclusions? Well, it looks like the difference between stainless and carbon is not very big. I think if I was to have a steel, if I was to have a knife intended for survival, I'd probably lean more toward a 14C 28N Sandvik over a 1095. I think that would sharpen similarly to the H1 and the 1095. I'll put up the numbers, the average scores that the blades got right here. You can draw conclusions for yourself. But I hope you had as much fun, at least half as much fun as I did. 50% the fun with 0% the wet crack that I have right now from wading through water almost waist deep. This is what I want to do at the end of this video. This was so fun. I want to invite some people into this. I want to tag Pete at Cedric and Ada. Pete, bro, tell me your thoughts on survival sharpening. If you want to, even leave the K and me at home, bro. Go find a river and see if you can make some things sharper than I did. Choose the steels that you think will be the best for research or the best result or the most fun. I want to call out and tag Justin at Engineer's Perspective. He's like a sharpener I watch often. You guys should subscribe to him. But he's a bit more of a finesse sharpener than I am, to be honest. I'm more of an experimenter. Justin, bro, at some point, I challenge and invite you. Put that Shapton Glass 8K back in the drawer and go out to the woods or a river. See what you can find. Bro, do some best testing. See if you can beat my numbers. It'd be so fun. Anyway, for all the rest of you, I hope you had a great time. And I'll just say, peace out. Peace out from the home slice. Take care, guys. Bye.